Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. So today I want to talk to you about journaling. This was another listener's choice. I had someone reach out to me and say, could you talk to us a little bit about journaling because I want to know how you use journaling. And I thought that was a great idea because I love journaling. I think it's a really, really awesome way to work through a lot of things in your life. I mean, it's good for a lot of reasons. So I'm going to talk today about how you can use journaling and how I use journaling, how it can help you in your everyday life. So journaling is one tool that I use with my clients a lot. I use journaling to help them work through things they need to heal. So, for example, if a client comes to me and I know that they need to forgive someone and to let something go, I use journaling with them. One of the things that I have them do is to work through the relationship with this person. So one of the things you can do when you're looking at journaling as a way to help you let something go is to write things down, almost like you're a reporter, writing it down like it didn't happen to you, it just happened to someone you know. And that might sound weird to you, but I'll explain it in a minute. So you write down everything that happened as though you were just an observer of what happened. And the reason you do this is because it takes away the emotion. Oftentimes when we are in the middle of a situation, we can't see what was really going on because we were too emotionally involved. And what this process does as you're journaling is it allows you to see what the lesson was, what were you supposed to learn, and then you can let it go. Because I believe that everything that happens to us in our life is teaching us something. And especially when we feel like we've been wronged by someone, there's usually a lesson there. So if you're doing the journaling exercise, this is a way for you to see the lesson and to be able to forgive and let go of the hurt that the lesson caused, but to be able to keep the lesson. So what I usually have my, I'll call them students, but they're actually my clients, I guess. What I have them do is we start by identifying what happened. Okay, what happened? So you write it down kind of like you were a reporter. So I was over at my sister's house and we were talking and she called me this. So you're doing it like these are just the facts. And what that does is it takes you out of the emotion of it. So then the next step is to look at each other's roles in what happened. And I'm sorry if you can hear that little background noise. We got Nala a bone and she's dropping it all over the floor trying to get attention. And I'm in another room if you can hear that. She's trying to get attention. Okay, so, if you have dogs, every time you try to do something professional, then they're like, you could probably, if you've been working from home and working on Zoom, you know what I'm talking about and understand. Every time I try to do a Zoom meeting for work, she tries to jump in my lap. Okay, so anyway, you are writing down what happened, no feelings involved, just this is what happened. Then we look at how did it make you feel? When this situation happened, what were you feeling? So you might think to yourself, well, when she said this, I felt angry, I felt really frustrated, I felt sad, what were your feelings? Because there's usually feelings that get involved. But again, you're just looking at it like a third-party observer. And then what you want to ask yourself is, what was this really about? What did those feelings really trigger within me? Because you'll usually find something. Like when she said this, I got angry. And then what I realized is that she made me feel like I wasn't good enough. And it triggered within me this feeling that I've always had that I'm not good enough. There's always some kind of trigger going on behind what happened. So it's not really about what it was about, if you understand what I'm saying. Even though this whole situation happened, it was about something much deeper than that. It wasn't because my sister called me stupid. It was because when my sister called me stupid, it triggered within me the feelings of unworthiness or not being good enough. And that's what it was really about. So you keep the lesson, oh, I'm still struggling with feelings of unworthiness. I need to work on that. But you let the other stuff go. So that's one way you can use journaling, is to really work through a lot of issues with healing. So anytime I feel triggered by something, and I know I'm triggered, and you know you get triggered because you feel these deep emotions, you just get really upset one way or the other, that's a trigger. So when you get triggered by something, instead of jumping in emotionally and going, oh my gosh, and allowing yourself to go down that rabbit hole of negative thinking, instead try to take a breath. And then if you can go do the journaling, say to yourself, what was this really about? Okay, when this happened, I got triggered and I reacted this way. Again, observe it like, okay, I was just observing myself get upset. I got upset, I reacted this way. What was that about? Why did I get so upset? And again, it's usually because it's revealing to us feelings that we have deeper within our subconscious of not feeling good enough, sometimes lack. Sometimes it's feelings of, well, let me give you an example. When I was in my last relationship, the person I was dating said things that triggered me. And when I went back later, of course I did this after we had already broken up, but I went back later and was like, why did that bother me so much? What was that really all about? And what I realized was that he made me feel like I was a burden to him instead of, like a blessing. Like, oh, I'm so happy that I have this person. Instead, I felt the opposite way. And what it triggered in me is feeling that way as a kid too. Because even though my parents never said to me, you're a burden. I just felt like I was. And I didn't realize at the time that I felt like I was a burden. It's just from watching them struggle, like with my mom, having to be a single mom and, working and coming home and she was very stressed all the time. And again, that's not her fault. I was the same way as a single mom with my kids, but I took that on as the reason she's stressed and struggling and this and that is because of me. She never said that. I just took it on as my story. And it triggered that within me. So I had to go back and go, oh my gosh, that's what that was really all about. So journaling is an awesome way to really dig deep into those triggers. Like, why do I do what I do? Or why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? So what I would do is write down factually what happened. This is what happened. This is how I felt. And then when you work through that process, that's when usually you have the aha moment of, oh my gosh, this is why. Think about what other time in my life did I feel that way and what was happening when I started feeling that way. And usually you can make the connection of, oh my gosh, this happened to me before when I was 16 and I was in school and someone else called me stupid. So it's unearthing this belief that you have about yourself that's deep down. And then when you realize the belief, like, oh, this is what I am saying about myself, we can change it. But you have to identify it first. So that's a great way to use journaling. Another great way to use journaling is if you are goal setting. Let's say that you have things you want to manifest in your life. We can call it goal setting, you can call it manifesting or your intentions, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. It's pretty much all the same. These are the things I want to see in my life in the future. And I love writing for that. And I do that. And there are a lot of people who will tell you like, oh, you can do the 555, like the 55 manifesting rule, whatever. There are a lot of people who have a lot of different manifesting tools. I'm here to tell you there is no rule. You don't have to do anything a certain way. I just think it's good to write down what you want to manifest because then you can spend some time each day going back and looking at it. Some people use the vision boards for that too. That's perfectly fine too. If you have a vision board on Pinterest, you can use it, especially if you're a visual person. But I think writing down your goal keeps you a little more accountable too. Plus, and I just did this recently, I went back and a year ago, I had written down some things I wanted to manifest. And I had manifested like 4 of those items off my list and hadn't even really thought about it. One of the things was I want to publish a book. Done. Okay, so I wanted to start my own business. Done. There are a lot of things that if you write them down and you go back and you look at it, you can see how far you've come, which is why I love it. Because then you can look at that thing and check it off like, okay, did that, on to the next thing. So I will sit down and write what I hope to manifest. And I'm going to be honest with you here. I think you have to be a little bit realistic. Some people are like, just sit down and go, I want $1 million. Okay, that's great. And I do believe you can manifest $1 million. But I also believe that much of manifesting has to do with your feeling like you deserve something and feeling aligned with it. And let's just face it, many of us are not aligned with $1 million yet. We're just not there yet. So I would start with things you can do. And you can always say this or better. I always say this or better. And the universe will bring us, more usually than what we expect. But you have to be in the vibration and feeling of what you want. You have to be a vibrational match. So if $1 million doesn't even seem like it's in your ballpark, you're going to have a really hard time manifesting that. So start slow. Start with things that you can do. And I'm not telling you at all not to try to manifest $1 million. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you have to know if you're trying to manifest that, you have to feel like you deserve it, feel like it's attainable, feel gratitude like you already have it. So if you are struggling with that, try starting off with something smaller. So let's say that you don't like your job and you want to manifest a better job. Start with that because you deserve a better job. You deserve to be happy. So write down all of the things that you're hoping to manifest. And I'm not at all telling you don't write down those dreams that you have, like I want my beach home. I write those things down too. But when I go back and look, I can tell you the things that I've definitely manifested are the things that didn't seem like they were unattainable to me, which just means that at the time I was not in alignment with all of the other things that I wanted. And I'm working on it and I'm getting there, but it is a process. But there's been a lot that I've manifested. So it's fun to go back and look at what you've manifested. And again, I think just writing it down, here's another reason why I write it down. I write it down because each day then, or, a couple of times a week at least, I go back and I can look at all of the things I'm hoping to manifest. And I just take a moment, I take a deep breath, and I just say, thank you, universe, for bringing me. And then I list the things, each thing. And I take a few moments to thank the universe for each thing that I have. Because you have to know that it's in your vortex, it's on its way to you, it's yours. You just have to be in the alignment of it's mine and thank you. So take a few moments and go through and thank the universe for each thing. So manifesting is another way to use journaling. And I love it. I think it's a great way. It's also fun just to think about all of the things you want to do in your life. And I would say that if you are manifesting and writing things down, the one thing you should not do is get discouraged like, oh, this hasn't happened yet. Don't get into that negative thinking because that's not what it's about. It's about hope. And this is on its way. And faith. I believe it's on its way. And then gratitude. Thank you that it's on its way. Which brings me to another thing that I like to use journaling for. I like to use journaling for gratitude and showing gratitude. A gratitude journal is an excellent way to look at all of the things that you already have in your life that you're blessed to have. And when we start showing the universe some love and some gratitude, the universe says, hey, here's some more stuff to love. So a gratitude journal is a great way to hold yourself accountable. I always, whenever I do meditations or prayers at night, I always start with thank you for everything. But, a gratitude journal and writing it down is just one more step in saying, I realize how much you're aligning everything for me, universe. And I realize how much I really have to be thankful for. And this is me acknowledging it. Plus, when you feel like right now we're in quarantine and a lot of people are posting things on Facebook like, oh, this sucks and I feel so bad. And, I understand it's easy to get into that. My birthday is Sunday and I had no idea like we were going to be in quarantine when we started in March, that we would still be in quarantine by my birthday. And I'm not like thrilled or excited about the idea that we're going to be quarantined for my birthday, but we're trying to make the best of it. And I realized that I'm lucky because I could be sick on my birthday and I'm not. I have my health, I'll have my children, I'll have my family, so I'll have everything that I need. And it's times like that when you start to feel that need to want to have a pity party and to start feeling like a victim and start feeling sorry for yourself. Journaling is a great way to pull yourself out of that. Because if you look around, you can see all of the things you have to be grateful for. Like right now, I'm just looking out the window and I see beautiful green trees and flowers blooming and the lovely neighborhood that I live in where people walk down the street and wave at you even when you don't really know them, because we all wave at each other in this neighborhood. And it's having a warm house or a cool house as the weather gets warmer, where I have a comfy bed and I have plenty of food. I was able to go grocery shopping yesterday and able to get all of the things that I needed. It's those kinds of things that help you realize things could be so much worse. I have so much to be grateful for, and I'm not going to take that for granted. Playing the victim isn't going to get you anywhere. It's not fun. It doesn't help you. So using a gratitude journal is a great way to kind of snap you out of that. So I highly recommend it for that. So another way that you could use journaling is for free writing. So a lot of people say, well, I'm trying to get guidance from my guides, but I don't really get anything. And this is how I use it in my business. Whenever I go to connect with a client, I just stop, I take a deep breath, and I sit in silence, and I just call in my guides and then my client's guides, and I just ask for any information that I need to have to work with this person and to help them for their highest good. And then I just start writing. I start writing whatever pops into my head. And I write and I write and I write until I don't get anything anymore. And then when I talk to the client, they're usually blown away, like, how did you know that? And it's not me, it's just me receiving information. And I was like you, when I first started this, I'm like, I don't get any guidance, I don't get information, I don't know what these people are talking about. It comes with practice, but the free writing has been one thing that has, or you might call it automatic writing, it has been the one thing that really has developed for me, for my skills, and it's helped me out tremendously. So again, just get your journal or notebook. And my mentor said that yellow note paper is best, but it doesn't matter for me. I can use any, but if you feel like, oh, I'm having a hard time, don't tell yourself stories like you can't do it, but you might want to get yellow notebook paper. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, I started with yellow notebook paper. Now I could use any color. It doesn't really matter. So sit down, and I would start with a prayer to call in your team, and just especially if you're looking for specific guidance for a specific area of your life or an event, a topic, whatever. Like, I need guidance in my job, or I need guidance when it comes to my relationship. So sit down, make that intention to clear your mind, call in your team and ask them to give you the guidance that you need. Sit there and wait. And when you feel compelled, just start writing. Now, when I'm writing, I know what I'm writing, but some people, they're just writing and they're not really paying attention to what they're writing, and then they go back and read it. So I would try that. I would practice that and do it like maybe every day. Take a little time to do it. The more you do it and the more practice you get, the better you will get at it. But I would make sorry guys, Nala's barking. There's probably people walking outside. It's a nice day today. So I would set the intention that I am going to clear my mind and I'm going to ask for guidance from my guides about, you can make it general, about what do I need to know in my life, or about my relationship, or about my job, what about my career path, what should I be doing? I would just sit and see what comes to you, because automatic writing is a great way to get some guidance. And like I said, when I meet with my clients, I ask, what do I need to know? And information just starts pouring out. I just start, like I can hardly keep up with what's coming. Like I'm trying to write it down so fast and it just keeps coming. Information keeps coming and coming. So that is a great way also to develop your intuitive abilities, really. Not just through meditation, but through sitting down and doing the automatic writing. And people will tell you, oh, you have to do it this way, you have to do it that way. There are no rules. Everyone is different. What works for you works for you. So don't let somebody tell you you're not doing something right. Just sit down, take a deep breath. I would say a prayer to call in your team to let them know what are your intentions, right? I would like to get some information on. And don't be frustrated if you can't get certain information. I truly believe that there are certain parts about our lives we're not supposed to know. You can go to a psychic or a medium, and if you're asking about a specific thing and you just can't seem to be getting the information you want, it's because you're not supposed to know, because that's part of our test too. Part of our test is, how will I react if this happens? Or do I have faith? Am I believing it's going to happen? Am I trusting that the universe has my back and is going to bring me something? So if you feel like, oh, there's just information I just can't get, it's probably because you're not supposed to have it. So don't let that frustrate you. Just also see what comes, because sometimes our team wants to give us guidance about things we never even thought of. Like, oh, I never thought to ask about this situation, or I didn't really want to know about this situation, but your guides are like, no, you need to know about it. So just see what comes. Don't put any expectations on it. And again, if you sit down and you don't really get anything, just try it again. It's like a muscle that has to be practiced, or has to be worked, sorry. The more you do it, the more practice you get, the better you get at it. So keep working and don't get frustrated. And again, I think calling in your team is crucial and essential. And if you feel like you're still blocked, you can say, it's safe for me to know, it's safe for me to hear, it's safe for me to see. A lot of people, I think, are just afraid deep down about, getting guidance. And we have to just tell ourselves it's okay, it's safe, it's totally safe. So whatever way you use journaling, it's great. And some people just do it when they feel like I'm feeling this frustration and I just need to get out my emotions. That's great too. Write down what you're feeling. After I've broken up with people before, I've had to sit down and write a whole letter to that person. And then they never send it to them or, give it to them, because that's not the point. The point is you getting out your emotions and maybe burn it. It's the same thing as when I tell you, you can imagine the person is standing in front of you and say to them what you need to say to them. In the same way, you can write a letter, and then you can burn the letter or you can tear it up. But it is very much a beautiful and emotional release for you. It feels so much better once you do that. So you can write a letter to a specific person. Another thing that I think is really cool is you can write a letter to your inner child. When you start doing that inner child work, if you had parents who maybe didn't give you the love and support that you needed, you can give it to yourself. You can write a letter to your inner child saying something like, "Dear inner child, I'm so sorry that you didn't receive everything you needed, but I'm going to provide that for you now. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to love you." And I know it sounds silly, but it actually is a really, really good exercise to do. And I've done that for myself too. And I would highly recommend it. It is very healing and therapeutic. So there are lots of ways that you can use journaling. and I've used them all. So I hope that that was helpful for you. I wanted to pull a card for you guys. So the card I pulled is from the Crazy Sexy Love Notes deck by Chris Carr, and it is Notice the Blessings, which I think is interesting because we were just talking about how you could have a gratitude journal. So maybe think about that. Gratitude puts us in a position of having instead of wanting, thanking rather than complaining. When we focus on what we already have and take stock of our blessings, we get more blessings. What are you grateful for? Share it with yourself and others. I love that. It is so true. Gratitude puts us in the right mind frame. Instead of lack, we realize how much we actually have. And when we focus on lack, we're going to call more of that in. But when we focus on all the things that we have, we're calling in more things to be blessed for. So start your gratitude journal today and notice all of the beautiful blessings around me. I am certainly blessed to have all of you as my listeners and part of my soul tribe. So I want to thank you so much for being here with me every day. If you have an idea for a podcast, don't hesitate to reach out. I love hearing them. I do not mind doing any kind of episode you want me to do. If I don't know anything about the topic, I will certainly do the research. So don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much for being here. As always, if you like this podcast, please subscribe, please share, please leave comments, please leave a review from wherever you're listening. That helps others to find me. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media. I go live on Facebook Mondays at 6:30 Central. I also post videos to Instagram or IGTV. So please follow me, and I have my own YouTube channel where I have free guided meditations, so check that out as well. If you'd like to work with me, you can go to my website, melissaoatman.com. There you will see all of the services that I offer. You can purchase them from my website, and when you're ready to book, simply contact me and we will set up your appointment. All of my sessions are done online through Zoom, so it's not affected at all by what's going on right now. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you have a beautiful day that is filled with blessings, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye, guys.